Welcome, my nerd familia, to another episode of Games You Must, the podcast where we're talking about all things board games, video games, and pop culture. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about this new TRPG game that has come out, and I'm very excited to talk about it. I'm joined here by Tom and Rye, the creators of Vice and Virtues. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us here on this podcast episode. We're going to be talking about all things of Vice and Virtues. Man, this is awesome. Like I said, I'm a big TRPG guy. I love playing D&D and
Thank you, man.
Pathfinder, and I'm very excited to talk about this, man. I mean, I've been playing a little bit of your guys' little campaign from your version 1, and I'm very excited to talk more about it. And yeah, I mean, I'm just excited, and I know Omar's super excited about this game too, so he can back me up in the comment section. But if you're interested in TRPG games and you're into D&D and Pathfinder and maybe some Star Wars role-playing games or any of that nature, this is the episode for you guys. So check this one out, guys. So with all that being said, though, pull up a chair, grab some dice y acompáñeme a jugar. All right. Woo, let's
Vic,
do this.
you're a natural.
Oh, man.
That was
Nail
beautiful.
it, man. Nail
Thanks for
it.
having us on, man. We really
No,
appreciate
man.
it. We've been looking forward to it.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very. First of all, thank you guys for being so flexible. I know we said a certain day, and then I had to cancel, and then the next day, I'm like, no, I had to cancel. Life happens.
We all got full-time jobs, man.
No, same here, too. So I'm just like, oh, you guys are awesome for being so flexible, man. And yeah, I'm very excited to talk about Vice and Virtues. And Vice and Virtue. I keep adding the S's. I don't know why I keep adding that. I like to make Pearl, but
It can
Vice and
be
Virtue.
whatever you need it to be. Vic.
There you go. Oh man, yeah, I love it. But Tom, right here on our podcast, when we have our first time guest joining us for the first time, we like to ask our traditional, infamous icebreaker questions. And a little side note for you guys watching or listening. Thank you again so much for listening and watching. We did a vlog video where we went to Strategicon. It was the third time going, and that's where we met Tom and Rye, and we actually got to ask him one of our icebreaker questions. So go check out that episode if you want to know. But stick around here because you're gonna hear the answer again here. But our traditional question we like is a two-parter. And the first part is, what is your guys' favorite board game of all time? I already know you guys' answer. It might have changed. I don't know. It could have been changed since the time we last spoke. But if not, I'd love to hear them again. And for those listening, when I say board games, I'm talking about all tabletop. Dice games, party games, card games, tabletop games, TRPGs, if you guys want to get into some TRPGs as well. So that's the first part of the question. Now, the second part, you guys haven't heard this one, is what is your guys' favorite video game of all time?
Oh my god.
That's a tough one.
Now, if you guys are gamers like me, it's hard to narrow it down to one. So I always give the option of I'll give you guys the top 3 video games of all time.
Excellent.
And I'm including not just consoles, not PC, but I'm also even including arcade games. Any arcade games that were just memorable as a childhood that you guys like visiting.
Wow.
Like I said, that opens up a whole new world. But I'm excited to hear, guys, your top 3, even top 3 board games. If you guys can't narrow it down to a single board game, I'll do top 3 board games. But I'm very excited to hear your guys' answers. I'll let you guys decide who wants to go first for that one. But we'll start off with the board game one. So yeah, I'll take it away, guys. Whichever.
Tom,
you
you had a better answer. You had a more confident answer than mine
Oh.
last time.
Well, now I'm thinking top 3. Okay, I'll go first on this. Top 3. I mean, I gotta give a shout out to Boss Monster by Brotherwise Games. It was a game. Like everyone that's done a Kickstarter or aspires to do a Kickstarter thinks about Brotherwise, I think, in some capacity. They were a super small company, and now they're enormous. Brandon Sanderson, if anyone out there has read like his fantasy novels, he gave a license to Brotherwise to do the Sanderson RPG. It's I think the largest funded TTRPG Kickstarter ever.
Yeah.
So gotta give a shout out to them.
Okay.
And then also rounding out my top 3, Splendor is a game I play with my wife all the time. I love Splendor. I think there was a Splendor game at Strategicon when we were there.
Okay.
In the open hall. It's just like a resource management game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Risk. Love Risk. I mean, I've played that since I was a kid. So
Classic.
that's
Okay.
my top 3 board games.
And what's funny is that I don't actually have an original Risk game. I have like the mini
Yeah.
different IP versions of Risk. I
Right.
I have like
Yeah.
Halo Risk. I have like
Yeah.
Walking Dead Risk. I have like all these other Risks, but I never have like the original classic Risk.
The
I'm like,
actual Risk, yeah.
I'm
I
like,
feel like
should
that was
probably get this.
Monopoly too, you know? Like
Yeah, same
there's
with Monopoly.
every kind of Monopoly. I don't have actual Monopoly. I have like
Monopoly, yeah.
Oceanopoly or something
Oh
like that.
yeah, like sound like random. Okay, interesting. Okay, top three. I like those. I mean, Boss Monster. I love Boss Monster. Great game. That's one of my earlier buy games that I had when I first got into the board gaming world. So I love
Yeah.
that. That was so much fun. And then Monopoly. I mean, no, Risk. Also, Risk was also fun. And then Splendor. I love Splendor. Splendor. I got to try it out for the first time maybe like a couple months back, and I'm like, this is like a real chill game. Like I really
Oh
enjoy it.
yeah.
It's competitive, but it's very chill because you're like collecting your resources, your
Totally.
diamonds. You're trying to get building combos to get bigger diamonds. So you can get. I was like, dude,
Right.
this is a fun game. I dig it. I like this game, stuff like that. So great choices, Tom. I enjoyed it. That was a good one. That was a good one. All right, what we got? What we got over here?
So confident, dude. I like kind of stumbled over my answer last time, and I think
No
okay.
worries.
So I remember saying Mousetrap, right?
Yeah. Okay.
First and foremost, just because I mean this it's steeped in nostalgia, but
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
just that last mic drop moment of the chamber falling over the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's core memory. But then
There
I
you
was
go.
thinking about it, and I really like Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
Like,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
we'll count that as a board game. It's a dice game, but
No,
dude,
for sure.
it's just so clean and so visceral. And I really love simple, accessible games that you can just like hop into with
Okay.
it's you don't have to be board game people to really get into that. And
No.
I like how easy it is to dip in. Like I'm just curious to hear your top three, Vic. I'm sure your listeners have heard them many times over, but I'm not deep in the board game space, so I really only know like the main.
No, for sure.
The main
Okay,
ones.
Yahtzee. So Yahtzee and Mousetrap. Classics, man. You got to go with the classics, man. You can't go wrong with some classics. I love Mousetrap. Yahtzee's a fun one. But Yahtzee, I'm like, I get too greedy with Yahtzee, but like, I can keep going. No, I can do this. It's like you end up losing it all, and you're like,
Hubris.
that's why I don't gamble, because I'm just going to lose
Yeah, no, it's the
everything.
gambling. That's what it is. Brings out the
Gambling.
gambling.
Exactly. I'll give a quick top three. I think it's been a while. I think the first time I did my top board games was back in like episode 4. So it's been a while. So my top three, number one obviously is Betrayal, House on the Hill. I love that game. Such a fun game, replayability wise. That always stay as my number one. It's a game that I like to bring out. Even like we passed spooky season, but like that's a good spooky game to play to kind of get in the mode. So that's my number one. My second top one is Spirit Island. That one climbed the ranks so high.
Oh, I haven't played that, but that came out recently, right?
Well, one of the expansions actually just came out recently. It's been out for a while, but like there's like so many expansions for it. Like my friend has it, and like he has like every single expansion known to man, and he loves playing it. I love playing it. The only problem is that if you have all the expansions, it takes you like a good 15 to 25 minutes just to go through all the spirits. It's a fun game, but it is a very hard game. It's a cooperative game, so you guys work together. You guys just take on the spirit, and you're trying to protect this island from invaders that came, and you got to protect your inhabitants and your natives and use your spirit powers. But these guys are relentless to keep coming. It's a fun one. And then my third one, that's a tough one. It's a tie between Twilight Imperium or Dino Island. Mostly because I just love Jurassic Park. That's my favorite all-time movie. And I love dinosaurs. And so the fact that I get to like, now it's in a board game form, I love it. But I do love Twilight Imperium. But Twilight Imperium I've only played twice. And that's legit like an 8-hour to 12-hour game. Like that's a game where you set aside a whole day, and yeah, that's one of those games where like, so you know what? Yeah, you got to commit for that one. You got to like get the people, be like, hey, I have November 17th open for a Twilight Imperium day. You guys free? Okay, clear out your calendars, clear everything. We're setting a whole day to play that game. I love it, but honestly, I'm just gonna go with Dino Island because I just love dinosaurs and I love playing the game. And it's so much fun. It's an easy game to teach. It's a fun one. So yeah, Dinosaur Island is my top three. So there you go. There's a little top three for that one. But I'm actually curious now to hear, guys, is your top video games of all times. If you guys are any type of gamers like me, I'm a big hardcore gamer. I've been playing video games more than I've been playing board games actually. So I love playing. But yeah, guys, what are your guys' top three or top one? Again, it's open to console, PC, or arcade games, wherever you guys want to play, or VR, even VR too, if you guys like VR games. But yeah, I'll let you guys take it away. What do you guys want to go with?
I'll take this, Tom. I'm much more of a video gamer than a board gamer. I've been playing since the beginning. I started out on like Crash Bandicoot, I think, on the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
I still have those levels memorized, man.
Nice.
But Yeah, so I'm it's a little recency bias, but I am top 3 right now. I'm actually going to get 4.
That's perfect.
There's Last of Us Part 2 changed my life just in terms from like a narrative storytelling standpoint, told through an interactive medium. I mean, it's one of the highest fidelity games I've ever played from an acting perspective, from a gameplay perspective. So grounded, so violent, so tasteful. I'm such a huge fan of Naughty Dog. Cyberpunk 2077.
Ooh,
Even at launch, guys. Even at launch. I absolutely love that game. Yeah.
That's a hot take right there. That's a hot take.
I will stand by. I love that game so much. I'm a huge Cyberpunk fan. I'm also a filmmaker on the side. I do animated films, and I had just finished like this Cyberpunk short film I was working on, and then Cyberpunk 2077 came out, and I was just it was
people person. Quick plug.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I would love to send that to you, Vic. But
no, please do it,
dude. So
it's on YouTube, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's people person, animated short film. Go watch it. It's the thing that I'm most proud of in my life up until when we released V&V for the first time.
Oh, okay. We'll check that out after this episode for sure.
So yeah, and I'm just like I'm a psycho, man. I'll turn off all the HUD. And I'll just I play on very hard. I just headphones on in the dark. I don't use a mini map. I just hop on the motorcycle. The commitment to the immersion, dude. I'm all about the immersion.
He is V. He is V. All right. He is the murder. In Night City, you better watch out for him.
Night City. He is Night City.
And he is the Night City.
The anime is also just awesome.
Edge Runners? Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. And then also, I'm a huge Baldur's Gate guy. Just in terms of like role-playing games, that's also what was super fun. Just playing Baldur's Gate while getting into development on V&V. It's just such a fun. I'm also a huge fantasy guy, and so that's also coming out of this Cyberpunk short that I was working on. Going into this deep fantasy rich lore that Tom created and just getting to visualize that's just been a dream. So big Baldur's Gate guy. I think that's an absolute masterpiece that deserved Game of the Year. And then my little artsy shout out is I just played a game called Indica. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
Yes.
It's a nun, like very religious third person puzzle game. But it's from an indie studio. I don't know the name of the studio. I'm so embarrassed.
Is it on Steam?
It might be on Steam. I played it on PlayStation, but it was just so original and so refreshing and so unlike anything I've played. And just the cinematography was so tasty. And it was just, I also would love to make a video game one day. So games like Indica make it look possible. To do a really tasteful thing with a low budget and a small team. So Indica, hats off.
Good selection, man. Yeah, I love your selections. Yeah, I mean, oh man, I love Cyberpunk. I was one of the many with the where like I first got it and I was like, what is this? But then again, in my defense, I got it for the Xbox One. And like I was like,
you don't need to defend yourself.
You really don't.
So
I mean, come on.
Project C Red, come on, man. Like you guys came out with bangers of Witcher and like so. But Cyberpunk, but honestly though, like that's a for me that's like a PC game. Like I don't think it's it's not worthy to be on a console. It's got to be a PC game for sure because like you can just run it more smoothly and like I've had it and like I've been modding the crap out of that game. I love modding that game. I'm making beautiful. I got myself the DeLorean on there. I put the DeLorean. So I'm like, this is nice. It's been fun. I still to this day have not beaten it. And to this day I've not gotten any spoilers on it, so I don't even know how the game ends.
Well, there's like a million different endings,
right? But I've never seen any of them. I don't even know why. I don't know how to avoid it. The farthest I've got, which is literally the end, was at that last mission where you're supposed to go to the main
meet Hanako at Embers, dude.
Yes, yeah. So I'm literally right there, and I was right there about the door, and then it was like, are you sure you want to continue? It gives you that prompt, like after this, and I was like, I think I still have side quests to do. So I just turned around, went back. I got more stuff to do. So I'm like, you know what? Let me turn around. Let me go back. And so, I love Cyberpunk, man. That's such a fun game. And like, I love that world, the whole world of Night City, and like just getting like you immerse yourself into it. And like a lot of people give it bash because of its beginnings, but like now that they're like, honestly, now talking to my friend about it, he's like, this is like hands down one of like the game of the year, best one of the top games he's ever played. Yeah. Now that it's been patched up, the way it's been played,
Yeah.
And then Phantom Liberty, like I've started playing Phantom Liberty now. Oh man, that intro for Phantom Liberty was so awesome. Oh my
Stunning.
gosh, bro! Like you climb the stadium and then it just does a title, and I was like, holy crap, this was the intro.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, that was
They
amazing.
went really hard. They had something to prove, man, and it totally
did.
worked.
They had to make up for that.
Oh, for sure, 100% agree. And that was man, I love that. Baldur's Gate. I still need to play Baldur's Gate 3. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I mean, I'm a big D&D guy, so I love playing it. So it's like right up my alley. Great choices though, right? I love those choices. Great ones. I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you with those choices, 100%. Tom, I'm curious, what you got? What you got for us here?
So if I have to go with my top 3 ever, I'll do my top 3, and then I'll do like also an indie shout out. Not really an indie shout out, but just a shout out.
Sure, for sure.
Top
Honorable
3.
mention. Yeah.
Honorable mention. Okay, so it has to be number 1, Pokemon Crystal.
Ooh.
I just can't even begin to. I mean, I have played
Crystal.
maybe like every ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal. I mean, Pokemon Crystal itself. I mean, probably 1,000 hours, probably more than 1,000 hours. I mean, thousands, multiple. Huge Pokemon fan from when I was a child to even now. Like Poke Rogue or just all the variations of Pokemon.
Oh wow.
And then number 2, Minecraft. Have to.
Minecraft.
Oh man.
Minecraft. I mean, one of the best games.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm a huge, and this is sad saying this with the movie out, I'm a Borderlands fan. I'm not confident at this point with the movie.
We don't talk about that movie.
I mean, I actually, crazily enough, I saw that movie, and the screening that I saw it for, there was CinemaScore. I don't know if you guys have ever seen CinemaScore. They're like an organization that polls movie watchers. And so I got polled on what I thought of the movie. And you grade the movie on an A to a D. A D is the lowest. And I gave it a D. I mean, it was
there you go.
Let down.
It's not like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. It's just awful. It's just
you wanted it to be good so bad, because you really are a Borderlands guy.
Oh yeah,
I love Borderlands. And funny story about Borderlands too is I have Borderlands. Well, I have the whole collection. Still haven't beat any of them, and I don't know what the ending is of at all. I've avoided spoilers for that game too. I've avoided spoilers for that game for
Vic,
sure.
You have a gift / problem.
Yeah, I know. Seriously,
you know what? I mean, just let that fester, and then you'll revisit that. I mean, those games are great because you can just play them over and over because the procedurally generated like weapons and everything.
Oh yeah, there's millions of them. Yeah. And
then honorable mention: Slay the Spire. One of the best deck building games ever. I bought that game when it came out. I didn't really know like what it was really about. I didn't know what deck building games were. It was my first deck building game.
Right.
I've sunk hundreds of hours into that game. Every mod, I've downloaded every mod for that game. So I'm also big into mods and hacks. I love like remixes of old games. So
yeah. But okay, Slay the Spire, and then you had Slay the Spire, Pokemon Crystal, and then what was your third one?
Dude.
Minecraft.
What an answer.
Okay, I'm about to say something. It's the
hot
Beatles
take. Let's go.
Video games. It's the Beatles of video games.
It really is, man.
I mean, come on.
Okay.
All the baggage that comes with it.
Across the planet. I mean, come on.
Interesting. Okay. I dig it. It did change a lot. It's a big revolution. I mean, they're making a movie out of it, which I'm kind of like.
That's going to be crazy.
They're doing it with everything, man. I mean.
I was like, okay, first Borderlands. I'm like, okay, Borderlands. I kind of understand because you could follow the storyline of
there is a story,
trying to get the vault and stuff. Which I mean, I've never gotten to the vault because I don't know what's going on over there.
Incredible.
but like Minecraft, I was like, there's you just get to the Ender Dragon. That's it. Like okay, like that you just gotta craft and like there's no real storyline to follow.
Dude,
really,
it's
like
about the mood.
There's
it's
nothing.
About the atmosphere.
It's like chilling.
When it came out when we were kids, I played the alpha of Minecraft when there wasn't the end.
Same,
I played before Nether. In fact, me and Ryan used to play together before the Nether had come out.
Before you and I were even like friends, Tom. We were playing.
I didn't even know you. We were just playing Minecraft.
Literally, though.
Minecraft, great choices. you guys have amazing choices. What are you guys talking about? You guys are awesome with those choices. I love them. You guys are unlocking core memories, man. I mean, Cyberpunk. I put a pause on Cyberpunk because I wanted to finish Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so I went and did that.
Also a great game. Yeah.
Nice.
Wait, what are your top, Vic? Give
Top,
me
Vic.
your top.
Oh yeah, sure.
Don't try to run away.
I don't know. It's like, all right. Anyway, let's keep going now.
Ryan's holding his feet to the fire right now.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Yeah,
Okay. So I gave my top favorite video game on an earlier episode again. I'm happy to rehash it again. But I'll give top 3 now because I always give my top 1. My number 1 top favorite game of all time that I love so much. And people give it a lot of flack because it's so convoluted and storyline's so crazy and people don't make that sense, but I enjoy it. It's Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts, the whole Kingdom Hearts series.
Answer.
That's my favorite all-time game because I love Final Fantasy. And I do like some Disney. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, Disney and Final Fantasy together? All right, bet. Let's run it. So that's my number 1.
Excellent.
My number 2, geez, like I love so many video games, dude. That it's just so hard to like narrow down. But I am going to throw Cyberpunk in there as one of my lists because that's a game I've literally immersed myself into that game. Or I was like, I'm just like, even when you're doing cutscenes, bro, I'm like serious about it. I'm like churning. I'm like, this is me. I'm
100%. You know, just like looking down at your feet. You know, oh my. I'm so
like whenever.
down.
Yeah, like I'm like if someone's like scolding me, I'm just like looking down. If like someone's mad, I'm like I turn to someone. Yeah, I role. That's why I love role play, man. That's why I role play. Like I'm like I am gonna be V. I'm gonna be the greatest merc in this whole world has ever seen.
Oh my god!
I don't care. And so I love Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's such a fun game, man. I love spending time with it. And then my third one is this is not a very common game. But it's a game that like I have so many memories about when I had a Dreamcast, and it's a game called Shenmue.
Ooh,
now,
that's like a rare find right there.
Yeah, so Shenmue it's such a fun game. It's a Japanese game, obviously came for the US. It's one of the first games I ever had that had like 4 discs. Like you had to play it like in 4 discs, and like
that's Dreamcast right there.
Yeah, it was hardcore. I'm like, dang, this game has 4 discs. But I mean, it's sort of Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy 7 like 3 discs or like 4 discs. But yeah, this game was such a fun. Like I have just memories playing this game, like figuring out how to play this game. It's not like your typical go here, be and do. It's like a game where you're trying to get revenge on your father's murder. And you got to go around town, ask people questions like, "Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And you live this life. You're living the life of Ryo Hazuki, and you're living his life. You're going, asking, you're trying to get revenge. People are telling you like, "Don't go down this road. Like it's bad. You know, your father wanted you to live to the fullest." And you learn all these life lessons as you're going through the game. And there's 3 of them. So there's Shenmue 1, and that game leads you into the storyline of like. You finally get more clues about your father's killer, and it turns out that he was Chinese. So now you have to go to China to go and find your killer. But you find out that it's like this whole conspiracy web of like this dark like this dark organization, stuff like that like your father was a part of. That you find that out, and you're like,
it's like a mystery slice of life.
It is, and you got to go.
Dude, I'm looking it up. This aesthetic is lovely.
Yes. And so 3 came out. Shenmue 3 is one of those games that like again like Kingdom Hearts. We were waiting years and years and years for this one because the second one left it on a big cliffhanger, and you're like, what's gonna happen next? What's happening? And we never got it until like I think it came out a couple of years ago, the 3rd one. But that's one of my favorite games. Anyone that's watching or listening, if you know about Shenmue, leave it on the comment below. Where are my Shenmue fans at? Let me hear you guys roar here.
Bring them out.
Yes, please. But that's enough about some icebreaker questions. You guys got to hear about Tom and Rye's favorite board game and favorite video games. Great selections. I love you guys' selections. It's great. But let's get to the meat of this podcast. And I'm very excited to talk about Vice and Virtues here, guys. You guys have created a TRPG, and again, to re-emphasize, what is TRPG stands for tabletop role-playing games, and those are you've probably heard of the big ones of Dungeons and Dragons, you've heard of Pathfinder, you've maybe played a couple like Star Wars role-playing games, even they have like a Lord of the Rings one now. So if you're familiar with that world, this is the kind of a Vice and Virtue falls in that category of role-playing, creating your characters, a lot of dice rolling, but a lot of creativity of fleshing out this world that you created a character in and stuff. And so I'm very excited to get to know more about this, guys. First of all, I want to talk about the origins of it. Wicked Grin Games. You guys came out with Wicked Grin. What was the origin of this company you guys are coming out with Wicked Grin Games? And then we'll get into Vice Virtue. So, guide us through the origin. What was the origin? Why Wicked Grin Games? Why even the title of that name? So, I'll let you guys take it away for that one.
What do you think, Tom? I mean, first of all, Wicked Grin Games was taken, so we're actually Wicked Grin Interactive officially.
Oh, great! Interactive. Okay, got you.
Wicked Grin Games, yes. Well, so the whole
come on, guys, give them the rights.
No,
I know, right? We don't want to get copyrighted. We don't want to get or trademark.
So Wicked Grin Interactive. Okay.
But yeah, basically the genesis of the name came from, we already had the idea for Vice and Virtue. So Vice and Virtue was a concept that I kind of came up in college with, this idea that you could base a world, it wasn't even a game at that time, around the 7 deadly sins and the 7 cardinal virtues. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to explore that. And so then me and Wright decided to partner and like actually make a game. Mm-hmm. Ryan is not only like a super talented artist. Go check out his animated short, people person. It's insane. But Ryan's also super creative. And so me and him, like, this is like a kind of creative partnership, the actual game itself.
Okay.
And we came up with the idea for Wicked Grin because I don't know if you've seen our icon in the book. Mm-hmm. But it's like an angel kind of smiling, right? It's like that woman smiling. And we loved that image so much. And we thought that it kind of encapsulated like the vice and the virtue, right? Like a wicked grin, right? Like a good and a bad thing together. Right. So that's really where it came from. And we had a bunch of different names we went through. We spent a whole session on it and a lot of time like hey, should we do this? Should we do that? And we did also a lot of researching. Okay, what's been taken?
Right.
And we landed on Wicked Grin Interactive, which we think just represents the whole brand.
No, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, the cheekiness, it's all in there.
Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah.
Thomas and I are high school friends, so
okay.
But we weren't like super close in high school. We definitely were like tangentially involved, and we
were hanging out, but we weren't like
deep in the chats all the time.
You were hanging out, but you weren't hanging out.
We became a lot closer actually in college and after college.
Okay, okay, nice. Yeah. You guys went to the same college. Okay, nice.
Thomas essentially kind of approached me. I don't even remember the first time. We were at a wedding.
We were at a wedding.
We were at a wedding. We were at a friend's wedding.
Yes, we were at a wedding. And okay, so at the time, I had just been dying. So I'm an attorney in real life.
Okay.
And being an attorney, I mean, you get to be creative sometimes. But I mean, honestly, a lot of it's paperwork, okay? And so I had been wanting to do a creative project, and I knew, Ryan was very creative, and like all the stuff he had done. And I had this idea for this game. At that point, I had decided, okay, this would be great in a setting that could be compatible with other 5e games. I'd probably want it to be rules light, and then like an RPG with our own little flair. And we'll kind of get into like what is the Vice and Virtue, like what sets it apart.
For sure.
But
of course.
Basically, I had that kind of like formation of an idea, that seed. And then I brought it to Ryan, and we were at a wedding. And it was during the reception. We're all like on the. I think we're on the dance floor. We're on the dance floor, and I went up to Ryan, and I'm like, "Do you want to make a 5e game?" He was like,
"I was like, I don't know, man.
I don't know, bro." And that was before Baldur's Gate, or like right before.
It was before, yeah.
Okay. And then Ryan bought Baldur's Gate and played Baldur's Gate. And then later, we're at a Christmas party. And this is Christmas of 2023. So this is literally last year. This is like 10 months ago.
Nice.
And we're at the Christmas party. And we had been just chatting and just telling, stories and stuff. And then we left the party together. And we're walking down the steps. And he's like, dude, you know that idea you brought up at the wedding? And the wedding was like 4 months ago at this point. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, are you still down? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still down. And then we hit development. Nice. We just got right into the book. Nothing had been written at that point besides just the drafts I had in college of the world.
You had the concepts for the 7 species.
Yes, and the seven alignments, right?
Yeah.
Like the actual vices and virtues. The whole idea is if you're playing as like envy, you can also play as the opposite of envy, which is the virtue of security. So the species starts out as like duality. They start with like a little bit of envy, a little bit of security, and then you can choose the paths as you progress. And so basically, all I had was like, the formation of that. We get into development. We write the whole book. We get all of the art done in time for Gateway. And then we brought the core to Gateway, and that's, where we met Vic and everybody else and sold the art prints and, copies of the alpha.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the origin. That was the origin
of I actually like it better with interactive, Wicked Green Interactive, because it's like it encompasses actually like your guys' game, interactive. You're interacting with this world, so like it's perfect game. I love that origin story. I love your guys' origin story. It's like, yeah, we at a wedding and like you're all dancing like, hey bro, you want to create a game? Yeah, what? You want to create a game? Okay. It's like,
I was nervous about the workload first because it was like, Tom will focus on all the writing and like the lore and the game systems, and then I'll just do all the art for the book and creative direct the thing. And at the time when he approached me, I was still working for Netflix, and I just had a lot going on. I was working on this film, and so I have a really bad habit of overcommitting to things because I'm so excited about things. So I was like trying to exercise caution and being like, Tom, I love this idea, but I don't know if I can. But then over the next 4 months, I just kept like thinking about it. And the idea of creating a fantasy world, getting to illustrate these characters, these species in my style for the first time, I was like, oh, Tom, you might be onto something. And so, I just came like groveling back to you. And I was like, dude, are you still down? Because I'm like kind of down to give it our all. And we immediately basically just decided to like treat this like a real, like take it very seriously, take development really seriously, meeting every week, creating deadlines for ourselves. Like we both knew that this was going to be something special right from the get-go. So we gave it 100% like right away, which was, and it's been, dude, Tom, are we wrong? Development has been so fun. And so like lighthearted in a way, even though it's been stressful at times. Like you and I have a great dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing that we're very lucky about is Ryan and I have great chemistry, and so every time we meet, it's just very yes and. That's the story of this development process. Like, because the big thing is like I'm not an artist. Okay, I can't draw a circle. Okay, so like I had all these ideas for these characters. But in a way, and I know there's TTRPGs out there that have very little art. Even like I'm a huge Mothership fan, love Mothership, and the original book just has like kind of scribbles. Like there's art in there that's very like low tech art,
which is kind of part of the aesthetic of it. But there wasn't a lot of art,
right? But I knew our book we're gonna have like Ryan's style is like full color, fully styled. I mean, you saw the art prints. I mean, it's insane. And so the one thing that I realized is the characters aren't going to become fully themselves until we see them, And so that was the coolest part about this process is I had these ideas for species, but then when they were actually drawn, that kind of fed back into the lore. The art informs the lore, which informs the art. It's a cool little circle.
Yeah. That is awesome, man. I mean, that's so cool. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you guys are having fun with it, like that's number one thing. Like you guys are having fun with it. You guys are building it off. That's the dream. I commend you guys. You guys are doing great. And it shows, like I said, reading through the handbooks, reading through you guys' rules, the artwork, everything, it shows that you guys literally pour your sweat and tears and blood on this stuff, and it's awesome. Like and I'm like, this is only version 1, bro. Like I want to know what like the new versions are gonna be like. I'm very excited about that. Like super pumped up. So get into like now the concept of vice and virtue. What was the fact? What kind of led you guys to be like, or with Tom, like with I want to make it about the 7 deadly sins. Like about like it's centered around that. Because what was the driving factor of like I wanted to be around that, center around that? Was it the anime? Did you like the anime or no? Like it's like
No, I have seen. Okay, I have seen that anime. I love that anime.
yeah,
actually.
yeah, for
But
sure.
you know, I will say I grew up religious. You know, I think a lot of us have grown up, especially in America. You know, a lot of us have grown up religious,
For sure.
and I think it's such an interesting concept to explore.
Hmm.
I think the main message in the book, if we're sending a message, I mean, really, we're just kind of exploring things. You know,
Yeah.
we're not experts. I'm not a theologian, okay, but
Yeah.
all we're kind of saying is like anything taken to an extreme can be harmful, right?
Mhm.
And so really what we're saying is there's a lot of gray. And for example, the first three playable alignments are you know, gluttony, right? Gluttony and temperance. And then you have wrath and mercy,
Mhm.
and you have sloth and diligence.
Mhm.
And so we want to stay away from like harmful pop culture stereotypes. Like a great example is gluttony. This is not a game where, you know, like if you are like overweight or something, that's the path of gluttony and that's bad. We are
Yeah.
not, that is not the game, right?
Right.
The
Right.
game is more exploring what is like the actual essence of gluttony, which is overconsumption. That's actually how early like theologians like thought about this stuff.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're going to kind of areas and exploring like philosophical concepts in ways that we hope are intelligent and that, you know, are nuanced and are fun is like the most important thing. That like you're having
Yeah.
fun, you know, inhabiting this character. And if you want to be the craziest, you know, gluttonous Creus and consume everything around you and, you know, lead to some apocalypse, you can do that. You know, you can
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
do it. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's kind of the concept. That's really where it came from. It came from just kind of wanting to explore something, you know, being interested in like
Mhm.
you know, religious adjacent stuff.
Yeah,
For
one
sure.
of
Yeah.
the
No. Yeah.
things
Go ahead.
one of the things that when you were pitching it to me, Tom, one of the things that interested me was, you know, when you think of vice and virtue, you think of good and evil, but you were like, no, there's good and evil on both sides of these spectrums, you know, like
Right.
the virtuous character isn't necessarily going to be the knight in shining armor, you know, like
Yes.
it's not about your, like when it comes to like a D&D alignment, it's not good or evil based
Right.
on
Right. Yeah.
which perk tree you're kind of going down. So it doesn't necessarily inform how you want to role play. You can role play however you want, but the vice and the virtue is essentially just like how your body is evolving as you get more powerful. Each one of
Yes.
these perk trees, the vice or the virtue, transforms you into a totally different like physical being. And that was super interesting that you kind of you divorced the good and evil concept from these paradigms.
Exactly. Like I
Yeah.
think a good example is, you know, even something like wrath and mercy, where you know, like mercy maybe taken to an extreme can be bad in some ways, right?
Mhm.
And so that's kind of the idea, which is that you know, it's really about extremes are something to kind of watch out for, but there's a lot of gray, there's a lot of nuance, and like Ryan's saying, the paths are just how you're oriented, how you're evolving, the powers you have, the traits you have, the actions you're focusing on, right?
Right.
And so that's what you're exploring in the game.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I like that idea of what you guys had, like going through the handbook and going over the type of species you can be. At first, whenever you say like, oh, it's based around the seven deadly sins, you're like, oh man, I don't want to be like a seven deadly sin. I don't want to be evil. Some people want to be good, you know.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that you've given the path of you have the path of duality. You can, you know, yeah, with you know sloth or like you know you can always be gluttonous or you can be the other side of the spectrum of that. The character I went with the doofall. The dooffall.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which path did you go?
I went the good path because I'm like
Diligence.
Diligence. Okay,
I
there
like
we
diligence
go.
because I was like I'm more like I don't like being evil characters, especially when we're playing video games stuff like that or like board games where you can like be the evil character.
Yeah.
I don't like being evil. I like being the good. I like being because I gravitate towards like the side of good and stuff like that. You know, like so I like to be like the hero-esque type of things and stuff.
Yeah.
So I went with that. I was like I'll go with diligence. But I do like having like a little bit of like the bad side. Like I'm good, but there's like a dark past
Of
within me that
course.
I have.
Of course.
And so like I sometimes give in to this temptation. I dig it. And then also like we can segue into like the artwork, man. Because the reason why I chose to do fall is because like I love the artwork you did for them, man. Like Riot, you did such a great artwork. I'm trying to find it.
Cool, thanks, man. Actually, your Yakuza Shenmue love. I feel like that duality do fall piece that's got some of that Yakuza energy to me.
Yes.
100%.
That actually makes sense. That's awesome.
So these are the do fall, right? These are
Yeah.
Yes,
man. Yeah,
exactly.
that's
That's
so-
them
that's
there.
diligence and sloth.
Rye did an amazing artwork on this stuff, man. This stuff is so awesome. I'm like,
Thanks,
even
man.
even the other species, like that's what drew me in because I'm a big pictures guy, man. Like I love like whenever it comes reading,
Same,
like I want
brother.
to see pictures. I want to see like the illustration. That's why I gravitate to like picture books. Does it have pictures so I can see? But like some of the artwork that you drew, man. Like oh man, this stuff is like so awesome, and that's what kind of drew us to your guys' booth at Strategicon.
Oh yeah, there's gluttony.
Yeah, like some of the stuff was like so awesome that you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Omar. This is Omar's favorite. This one was.
Oh,
Omar's-
yeah.
I love
this
that
one was
Omar
so-
digs him. Yeah, that's
It's
that's
amazing.
rap.
Yeah, the
that
Fro
one-
show.
Yeah, that one's such. I almost went with them too because I'm like, oh, I love that artwork. But I'm like, if Omar's gonna be them, I don't want to copy them. I don't want.
Yeah.
I want to be my own. But like this stuff was amazing with the artwork and stuff like that. Which I guess we can ask you, right? Like when it came to creating these species and like the artwork and stuff like that, what were some like maybe influences that kind of drove you to come up with this type of stuff? Like what
Yeah.
made you? Because this stuff sticks out. Like it's not. Obviously it's original. It's awesome. I love it. With some little bit of aspects of fantasy and stuff like that. So what were some like motivations, some influences that kind of drove you to like drawing this artwork for this awesome game that you guys have going on here?
Yeah, man. The inspiration question is always hard for me to answer because
Yeah.
I mean, it's I've collected all like my entire life. I've just been built up to just like making whatever came out of me for this game. Like I didn't really look at any specific current other IPs or anything. I think just like it kind of comes out of Thomas describing these species to me. Like, so I had some foundations to go off. So like take the Crayus, for instance, the gluttony and temperance species. They have mouths all over their bodies. That's the whole kind of concept of this species. And so they're born with this kind of gluttonous, temperate duality to them. And so I kind of knew that, okay, they're going to have mouths all over them, and I think at some point, Tom, you had them being like a little bit more like goblin-y looking, or I don't know, you were describing
like vein or something, or
yeah. And so I like kind of him and I kind of like just chatted back and forth, and I kind of felt like, oh, I want to take it in this slightly more of a humanoid direction. All of these species, I was like, I think they should all feel kind of humanoid, just so it's slightly easier to like step into the shoes of just as a human player. But yeah, so like my kind of style has just been, I've been developing this kind of way of illustrating in Photoshop over the last, my entire life. And so it was basically just applying my style to fantasy. So yeah, it's not really not coming from anywhere specific. It's just like make these wild. I want to make. I mean, anime in general is a massive influence on me.
For sure.
To my style, to the kinds of characters I like to portray, to the kinds of poses. Very dramatic, very vibrant, characters, and so I knew the outfits had to be crazy. I knew that like they have to contrast each other a lot. Like each species needs to look really different from one another. They need to have a different color palette. And it was just it is the most fun thing about working on this game is creating this art, creating the art, creating these species, bringing them to life. I'm absolutely obsessed with character. And so getting to like step into or try to, put myself in the shoes of like, okay, what would a Dewfall dress like if they're living in the mountains and they're asleep all the time? They'd probably want to be slightly more comfortable. They'd be wearing robes, more like monk-like, And so out of those kind of core pillars, if you just kind of extrapolate that on a species evolution timeline, it's like, what would these characters look like? Oh, they'd have big furry ears because they're living in the mountains and they want to be able to hear distant echoing sounds, So it was really natural, man. It was really fun
sure.
and really organic.
No, I love it, man. I love the artwork. It shows it's so great. It fits the style of the game, and like honestly, like when like reading the rules and looking at the photos, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. Like
Cool. Hell yeah. We did
like
it,
it's
Tom.
like exactly it makes sense because like you have some of those games where the artwork's like, all right, this is cool, but it's like it doesn't encapsulate what like the rules I'm reading or something like that. You know, it's like with D&D, it's a perfect example because it's like a good standard because like, hey, you're reading about the species you can be. You could be the dragonborn, you could be halflings, you know, and they'll have fixtures of it, and you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, you guys did a phenomenal job with Vice and Virtue, where it's like I'm reading the rules, I'm reading you guys how to do, how to do attack rolls and how to do all this stuff, and then you have photos to accompany with like what's going on. It's like, okay, I can build this world with your guys' artwork, with your artwork, and Rye, you did kudos to you, you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you, sir.
I can't wait to see more if you're producing more for this. I mean, I want more.
Oh yeah, I mean we've got 4 more playable species in the chamber right now. We've got a ton of new biomes, so we're not stopping.
Dude, I want those posters, man, and I want them signed and whatever, bro. I want those because I want those. I'm gonna start putting them all over my house, man.
Oh, dude, we'll send them to you with pleasure.
Oh, please, that'd be awesome. When it comes to the mechanics of the game, obviously. You have some things that you have to think about of like how close am I going to make this into D&D? How close am I going to make this into Pathfinder things? What am I going to take away from it? How are you going to try to stick out from these other TRPGs that have been doing it for years and stuff like that? How what makes it stand out and stuff like that? And again, going through the rules, reading stuff like that, I love it. I love the simplicity of it. You've made it not rules heavy-esque type of things, especially when it comes to like attack rolls or I might misread you. You can correct me, boy. It's like you don't roll to see if you hit. It's like you automatically hit. You're just rolling for damage. I love that. That's awesome because all right, let's just get straight into combat. It's all come down to like the dice rolls and see how good you are. So when you came up with these mechanics, like what were some things you had to factor in? Where it's like, okay, how am I going to stick out from all these other TRPG games that have come out?
That's a great question. So I think for us, the real strength of Vice and Virtue as a game is not really like because we have some novel rules set. Our rules are very rules light. I wanted it to be simple off the bat because I wanted you to be playing, right? I wanted you to not have to memorize everything beforehand. Combat is supposed to be very seamless. There's no distances. You roll for damage. We do have AC, but it functions purely as damage reduction. So, if you have an AC of 1, you're just taking 1 less damage. Very simple. Instead, what we want to bring to the table is tons of content. So that was the idea from the beginning. If you read the Sewers Adventure, which when we sold, we should probably describe the product that we sold at Gateway. We sold this basically this bundle, right? Yeah. And what it was the alpha, which was a combination of the core, right? Most TTRPGs have a core. Like when you buy Mothership, you're buying the rules set, right? Or when you buy like a new TTRPG like Shadow Dark, you're buying the rules set or the D&D Player's Handbook, right? Right. So we married that, we combined that with the first adventure. So it was one product. It was basically, I mean, you have it, right? You read all the way through the campaign, and then halfway through basically is the adventure, and then you have the adventure for the rest of the book. Right. And so the adventure's huge, right? Like the adventure, we have like this big dungeon. We have a bestiary just for the adventure, basically. We have an itemiary, right? Like all the items and their effects. And so what we want to focus on is we are going to bring you tons of content you can remix in other RPG games, content that you can play solo, whatever it is, for a lower cost. So basically, in the new version of the core itself is going to be a standalone product, and it's going to have its own mini adventure inside of it, along with a bestiary for that mini adventure, an itemiary for that mini adventure, everything.
It's got
And then
one shots in it. It's got
one shots.
Nice.
biomes. Yeah, it's
Oh,
And that
man.
thing
Snappy.
is going to grow. So essentially, the core takes place inside of this huge city called Stormcliff City,
Mhm.
and you can go on adventures around Stormcliff City and all these different biomes.
Mhm.
And there's just one biome right now in V2, but that's going to eventually end up being 9 biomes. So you're going to have
Wow.
9 times the amount of content. We have random tables
Yes.
that we've developed, and it's like you can roll on those for literally hundreds of encounters and
Wow.
different role-playing aesthetics, like everything. So I think what sets V&V apart is the world of Shar, all of the things that are in this world that we're bringing you, all of that content. And so that's kind of like our vision, is we're just going to bring you so much stuff. Like you're going to have just oodles of random tables. The tables aren't going to stop. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. More of
Tables are
them.
gonna keep
More.
coming. Yeah.
I mean, the adventures are so big. They're almost like course supplements, we say.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
they're huge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
man.
when you and I have just been kind of like going back and forth over development for the last year, and I've been bouncing art off of you. You've been bouncing systems off of me. We've been really like collaborating on both sides of this thing. We've always kind of kept the GM in mind, like more than anything, like giving the GM just like narrative beats or NPCs or just interesting types of encounters.
Yeah.
All throughout the adventure, and with all these tables, you can just generate all these different types of interesting things to put your party through. So it's always been like thinking of the GM and how do you make the GM's job easier, because GMs work so hard to bring this thing
It's
to
all
life.
about the GM. Okay, and I don't want to offend any players watching. Okay, players, we love you, but as a GM myself, it is all about the GM. Let's be real, and it takes hours to prep, and so that's a great point. We want to cut down that prep to basically 0. Like if you want to run a V&V one shot, we want you to be able to pick up the one shot, like not even having read it for the first time, and being able to run it immediately.
Yeah,
that is the goal. So, and we also want to give you tools if you want to create your own adventure to make it fast. Because we don't have time. Most people don't have time in this, day and age. So that is a huge consideration for us. Always have the GM in mind. How do we make the GM's life easier?
That's awesome. Yeah, and thank you for that, obviously, because as a fellow GM, DM, the struggle is real, man. Like you're just preparing for it, and then you prepare, and then your player goes, "I want to do this," and you're like, "Ah, crap. Okay, hold on. Let me figure
the whole thing. On that note, that is part of role playing, though, right?
It is,
because
yes, exactly.
At the end of the day, you are creating that story with your players, and so that's another thing. In the Sewers adventure, one huge thing that changed from V1 to V2 is we gave multiple different paths in case the players want to leave the sewers, or maybe they want to we have a couple NPCs that are helping them. Do they want to attack the NPCs? Do they want to betray the NPCs? What do they want to do? We want to provide you like every little narrative path. Of course, there's going to be stuff we don't think of, but we want to provide you so much stuff that no matter what they decide to do, you can be like, okay, they put that in there. Let me put this here.
There's some kind of narrative foothold that you can rely on if something goes rogue.
Forced on a path. We do not want to railroad you, and because I don't think that's good role playing either, right? I think the role playing it has to be a little bit of improv, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you want it super linear, super just like straight to the book, you're better off playing a video game, because it's like
exactly.
Straight to the book. Like this is the point of role playing, and like again, like games like Baldur's Gate or Cyberpunk, or all those games. Yeah, there's just like a end goal to it, but it's like it's a game where it's like it's open world. It's multiple paths. You can do whatever.
It's choice driven.
Choice. And that's the beauty about TRPG games. It's like it's all about choice. It's all about this is your world. We're storytelling your world. I, as a DM, as a GM, I'm here to guide you through this. But ultimately, it's your guys' world. You decide what you want to do with it. I'm just providing the NPCs and the story driving. I'm driving the story, telling the story. Yes, exactly. Like, but it's up to you guys to choose what do you want to do. I can't hold your hand the whole time. You guys got to you guys got to figure it out, figure what's going on. And if you don't figure it out in time, there's gonna be this big, huge thing that comes in, and you guys are screwed. Now you guys gotta adapt to what you guys have to do, and it's beautiful. I love it, man. And then as we're kind of rounding off the podcast here, we've talked about Vice and Virtues. People are thinking, okay, Vice and Virtue, TRPG. You talked about Seven Deadly Sins. You talked about all this version 1, version 2. But what is Vice and Virtues? We didn't even. We got to let's give like a quick. What is Vice and Virtue? Let's give an elevator pitch, and then even also you guys talked about version 1, version 2. So let's start off with. What is Vice and Virtues? What is obviously we know it's a TRPG, but what is this Vice and Virtues world you created?
I can take this one. So we had to pitch, 40 times at Strategicon. So essentially, what we pitched at Strategicon was this is a world where you play as 3 of the 7 deadly sins, your choice, and you embark on an adventure through a dungeon where you explore your vice and virtue with a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of fun. We even said it was, as whimsical as Alice in Wonderland, in that the final boss at the end of the dungeon, should you be able to fight her, is a giant clam, Bivalvia. And she was very popular.
She was. People loved Bivalvia.
Ryan did an image of Bivalvia in the book, and she's scary. She's
terrifying.
Her sharp teeth.
I'm like, I ain't fighting this thing. I'm not fighting this thing. I'm going away. I'm running away.
She's wild.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, she is like a super boss if you've played Final Fantasy.
She
is very difficult. She is not, on everyone's first rodeo.
Yeah, and just to zoom out really quickly, Tom, to build off of that. So Vice and Virtue is, to be super general, Vice and Virtue is a tabletop role-playing game based on the 7 deadly sins, and there are 3 playable species of the 7 eventual species. We keep talking about V1, V2. We are currently in alpha phase, and we opened this whole journey with selling the version 1 of the alpha at Gateway. Yeah. And we are about to release an updated version of the alpha, but we are still very much in alpha. This is still an incomplete product. But our goal is to release this on Kickstarter in 2 years. We're going to spend the next 2 years fleshing out the rest of the species, the rest of the world, and it will be an official 1.0 release in about 2 years. But you can get in early right now with buying the alpha, and we have this whole legacy purchaser program where if you buy any of these products, you'll continuously get all the updated versions on the road to 1.0.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So basically going off of Ryan, the timeline is we're going to remain in development until Q4 2026 when our Kickstarter launches for the actual 1.0. We're still in the alpha phase, so we're still play testing. We're still working out kinks. When you buy a product for us, we're hoping to have a live product for V2 on our website in late November, early December. Our website is www.wickedgrininteractive.com. And you can buy the core as well as the Sewers Adventure directly from there. We're also going to try to be on DriveThruRPG. I don't know if that's going to be at the same time or a little bit later. We're working on that. Mm-hmm. When you buy any alpha product, including the core and the Sewers Adventure, you are automatically inducted into the Legacy Purchaser Program, where you're eligible to receive a single free digital copy of any updated release of that product you bought. So, for example, Vic is currently in the program. When we release V2, because he bought the core and the Sewers Adventure, he will receive both digitally for free. And it'll continue that way until the Kickstarter funding period begins. So once the Kickstarter funding period begins, we have to close that program because at that point we need to fund the game to actually launch it.
Yeah, do a full print run and everything and all the
full print run. Right now it's digital. You can probably do print on demand through DriveThruRPG, but we are not going to officially release a print version at least until that Kickstarter.
Yeah. And you guys got my pledge, man. When that comes in, I'm pledging, bro. Hardcore pledging, bro. I'm pledging, my man.
Yeah, so awesome. as the product stands right now, the alpha version of the core has about 160 pages of content right now.
Yeah,
that includes all the rules. And So the whole concept of our like 2-year process right now is we're trying to get players in early to help playtest the game, help give us feedback, but also just build
Join
an
our
audience,
Discord.
build a community. And as that community builds, as we keep releasing content, that alpha core is just going to keep getting more and more content. And, it'll be hundreds of pages by the Kickstarter. So if you want to get in early, just, come on in. Come on in, enjoy the fun.
There you go. Yes.
And we're
going to do it.
We're going to continuously just release new adventures that are based, like our first adventure, The Secrets of the Stormcliff Sewers, that's based on, it takes place under Stormcliff City and these really wild labyrinthian ancient
tunnels.
Sewers. Yeah. But we're going to have stuff in, a whole desert biome and more forest biomes and
valleys and rivers.
So the whole point is to just continue fleshing out this world. And by 1.0 release, we'll have this entire, rich teeming world with a massive core book and a bunch of different adventures as supplements.
That is awesome.
That's the pitch, Vic.
That is
awesome. and I'm sold. And I'm sold. Give me. Shut up and take my money. Just shut up and take my money. I want it. This is awesome, guys.
Whoa.
Definitely check that out. I mean, if you guys are into again the RPG, TRPG scene, you've played D&D, you've played a Pathfinder, you're looking for something new, check out Vice and Virtues. Please check it out. It's awesome. You guys will have a fun time. And if you do, leave a comment below. Let us know. And let me know if I can join you guys because I want to play. I want to join you guys' group. But, I mean, we'll go ahead and close off this podcast. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. You guys got a lot of busy stuff to get going here. And so I want to do some plugins. You guys already kind of alluded to with the you guys' website. Anywhere else they can find you, Ryan? I know you got some projects too. If you want to give some shout outs to some projects,
yes.
Yeah, let me know. And then anything you guys shout out, I'm going to be leaving a link below for you guys to go check that out. Click on those links, join their Discord, join everything you can to join with them, get news and updates from them. Yeah, but go ahead if you guys want to go ahead and do some plugins.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, plugging on a podcast, what a dream!
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so our website is wickedgrininteractive.com, and you'll be able to buy our product there come November, December time, and we'll send out a big blast when that happens.
In time for the holidays, okay, people.
Yeah, we're trying to cash in on the holiday rush.
Yep.
So we're also on all the socials at wickedgrinint. And then if you're wanting to follow my art animation projects, I'm at rdanger on Instagram. Tom, anything else?
Just our Discord. Our Discord link's on our website. Go to our website. It has all the links for everything. We have a Discord. We're also hoping to do a play-by-post game on the Discord eventually of, the game itself. We do not have a timeline on that yet, but join our Discord. We will also do announcements there. It's just another way to follow our work, stay updated, and hang out with the crew.
Of course, yeah. Go check out those links again. I'll be posting those on our episode here. So you guys go check those out. Join the Discord. Join the fam. Join the Vice and Virtue fam. You won't be disappointed. It's fun. These guys are awesome. They're very quick with responses. If you guys have questions, they're on there. They're on top of it. They're awesome. Rye's work is amazing. I'm going to be checking out that short video that you did. This artwork speaks for itself, guys. This is amazing stuff here. Rye, you guys did good. Vice and Virtue, Tom, you've hit gold with this. I'm very excited. In fact, I'm so excited that with version 2 and stuff like that, what I would like to do is if we could get this video to 500 likes. If this video gets 500 likes, comment below on this video. Put Vice or Virtue on your guys' comments. Give it a 500 likes, and I will choose one of your guys' comments, and I'll give you guys a free copy of your guys' game.
We'll do that.
Completely free. Yeah. Don't worry. I'll give my personal gift to you guys because this is how much I believe in this game. This game's so much awesome. You guys got to get on it. So if you're into TRPGs, get this game and go ahead and comment. Vice and Virtue. Go comment that on our comments below. Give this video a like. Go share it. Subscribe. Do all that things. Follow them on their channels as well, on their socials. Check out Rye's short video. Comment below. Let them know I sent you on his video. Let them know I sent you there, that you checked that out because of there. But Tom, Rye, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm very humbled that you guys agreed to come to our little small podcast here. You guys are busy men. I know you guys got a lot of stuff. You guys got full-time jobs, and you're dealing with the Vice and Virtue takeoff here. So once again, thank you guys so much for joining us here, man. I'm very excited.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
man.
thanks.
Man.
Meeting you at Gateway was a huge highlight, and your energy is just incredible. And the podcast you've got,
the vibes
building is
amazing.
I appreciate that, guys. It's I love meeting new people, love meeting new games, and I like to say this to whoever meets, like, I'm your guys' hype man, bro. Like, I'll give me your product and I'll hype it away, bro, because I just love it, bro. I love hyping up stuff. I know the grind is real, the struggle is real. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining us, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video if you guys want to see more content. Tom and Ryan probably is not the only time you're gonna see them. I want to have them back on the podcast for updates. We can talk some gaming. Let's talk some gaming too. Let's just talk some other topics.
Dude, I know we could talk for 3 hours about video games. Like,
let's do it, bro. Let's run it. Let's put it in the books. I'm super down.
There.
10 hours.
There you go. Oh, let's go. Let's do it.
No, Vic, no.
10-hour thing. Oh, man. Yeah, not for me. It'd be a pain in the
Live stream on Twitch.
Yeah, I won't live stream or something like that.
But again, get together again, Dan, definitely.
Let's do it. Yes. Thank you guys again so much for watching, guys. Y nos vemos para la próxima.